Entertainment Soldier here, and I am back to talk about Westworld Season 3, Episode 2, and my thoughts on it. I'm going to start off by saying I did like this episode, liked the characters that were involved. There are some stupid scenes, like one character that we all knew was a certain thing, but there was hope for me that he wasn't. But I'll get to that in spoilers. I enjoyed the story. The pacing of this episode wasn't bad. There are some scenes I think they should have pulled out, like certain scenes that I will say, for a little spoiler, it would be what the hell was it called again? Oh yeah, fucking two people being brought into the show that should have been taken out of this episode. And it's not just for pacing, it's also because those two idiots who fucked up something should not have been brought into this show. But again, I'll go into spoilers about that later. But so hard not to go off on them. But yeah, I did like the acting. I did like the character development. I also think Maeve's character development in this episode was fantastic. Bernard, I don't think Bernard did that much in this episode, personally, perfectly honest. But I'll get into that in the spoiler section later. But I'm just going to say, it's an okay episode. The problem I have right now is a lot of people are saying this is as good as the first season, so Westworld's back. And I've just got these words to tell any people that are thinking that right now. You're a fucking idiot. No offence, but you're a fucking idiot. You got one good episode. Now, I've been burnt before with a good episode. I mean, if you've watched my videos before, you know I liked one episode of Doctor Who. Then it turned out the rest of the fucking season was shit. It really was shit. So, yes, one good episode doesn't mean shit. It just means they got one thing right. But, yeah, it was a good episode. But for me, that's it. The rest of the season for me, I'm not sure where we're going to go anymore. I think we know where this is going to end up. I mean, it's pretty bloody obvious where it's going to end up. We saw it in the fucking trailer. But if I'm going to give this episode a score out of 10, I'll give it a 7. It's watchable. There's a lot there you can enjoy. But I'm still at this point of, yeah, you did one good episode. I need to see the rest of the series to really give you any better scores right now, because I'm still pissed off at last season. I hope the rest of the series is good, but I've been burnt too many times now. So that's my score for it, for my non-spoiler section. So I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. It's watchable. If you wanna watch it, watch it. It will be fun. You won't be bored. There's a lot of interesting stuff. There's also nudity. And yeah, it was pretty interesting to see. Because right now, it's kind of boring with the whole thing. Can I say it? Sorry, I'm talking about the virus, but you can't say the virus on YouTube, otherwise your video will be destroyed or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's good to get something entertaining to watch whilst we're all stuck inside. That's my non-spoiler review. I'm going to go into spoilers now. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, go away now. So the episode starts off with Maeve in a chair. Pretty much what we saw from last week. And then who arrives? Hector. Hector comes in. He grabs Maeve. Maeve is so happy to see him because she loves him. They're pretty much hiding from the Germans. I also can't say the antsy word because that will get me demonetized too. Not demonetized. We'll just get my video throttled. So I gotta be so careful now because a friend of mine fucking has told me all these rules that I did not know about. But yeah, so they're hiding from the Yahtzees. By the way, I got Yahtzees from Nerdrotic. Again, if you haven't heard of Nerdrotic, really watch his stuff. He's the best YouTuber, man. I'm just telling you. But yeah, hiding from the Yahtzees. They're running round them. They go around a wall. Then they run across some sort of bridge. Then they bump into 3 Germans. I was going to call them Germans. I can't say no. Nazi. They bump into 3 Germans. Hector's trying to, downplay. Listen, we're just civilians. Don't hurt us. Maeve gets close. Maeve then tries to use her power to make the soldiers do as they're told, but it doesn't work, so she finds that very strange. Then she grabs a pill and stabs one of the Germans in the eye with it, and then Hector and her grab guns and then shoot the rest of them and then run for it. And then they get to Hector's car. Hector then tells Maeve about the map that he has, which is apparently a plan for them to plan for the Allies to attack the German forces in Italy, because they're in Italy. Now, Maeve's confused by this because she doesn't understand how Hector doesn't realise that they're in a game. So they arrive at the airfield. Hector gets on the plane first, and then it turns out the pilot and everybody else is dead on the plane. They get out of the plane and 2 German soldiers are waiting for them. They threaten Hector, tell him to hand over the map. But Maeve just pretty much comes out and says, listen, this shit doesn't matter. We're all in some weirdo's game. And Hector doesn't really understand this. The Germans kind of confused by this. But then the Germans threaten the woman. Hector didn't give her the plans. Then one of the Germans shoots Hector. Hector shoots the Germans. And then the other German, they're both dead. Maeve pretty much goes to Hector. He's dying. But she pretty much tells him it doesn't really matter. We're just in some sick game. And then grabs a pistol and blows her head off. And then that scene ends. And then we get the whole song part. And then the next scene is Bernard on a boat heading for an island. And it turns out this island is Westworld. The music did remind me of Blade Runner a bit. But I suppose, I don't know, maybe it's an homage to Blade Runner because it's kind of pretty similar what these two show, but this show and Blade Runner are. But yeah. So Bernard arrives on the island by a little boat, and I just got to say this resort apparently costs a lot of money. They have got shit security. I mean, they got these like wall things that don't even cover it everywhere. So what's the point of them? I mean, it just seems so easy just to sneak your way into Westworld. It's very weird. I mean, I was expecting him to go to an island to find, well, he finds Stamber? Well, he's going to go to an island to find Stubbs. But I didn't think it would be Westworld he was going to go to. But it is. I know, it was just very surprising how easy it was for Bernard to get there. I mean, we spent the last second season seeing the hosts trying to escape Westworld. Seems pretty damn easy to me to escape. All you got to do is get a boat, and then you're free. So that was kind of weird. I think I went on that bit too long. So Bernard gets the Westworld. He goes to a cabin. Goes down the stairs. Turns out it's, well, he finds a bunch of hosts turned off. Then we find Stubbs, and Stubbs had shot himself. Bernard tries to check the wound. Turns out Stubbs not dead. Stubbs wakes up, asks Bernard what you're doing here, and then Bernard pretty much realises, so you're a host too. Now my problem with Stubbs being a host. Now listen, everybody I think kind of knew he was a host at the end of last season, because I mean they were not trying to hide it at the end. I mean, he pretty much knew Dolores was that woman and he let her go. But for me, it doesn't make sense. I mean, it makes sense, but so every human that's a good human is a fucking host, apparently. I mean, it's just very weird to me. There's no good humans. I mean, every human's a dickhead in this world. I mean, come on. But yeah, Stubbs is a robot. Bernard repairs him. Stubbs explains what he did there. He's pretty much there to protect the hosts and protect Bernard, because that's what Walter told him to do. Hold on. Yeah. And, once he had done his job, or, protected as many as he could before, the rest got killed, he decided to shoot himself because that's what his programming told him to do. Bernard then tells him that he needs his help to find somebody in the park to help him deal with Dolores, because Bernard wants to stop Dolores doing what she's planning to do, which he doesn't know yet. That's what he's trying to figure out. So Stubbs says fine. Bernard's pretty much prepared him now. Stubbs then coughs up a bullet, which I kind of thought was okay. It was funny, to be honest. And then they head out to find Maeve. We then go back to Maeve, who is in the repairing place where they repair all the hosts. She then recognises the Asian fella who's working on her. She tries to send him a signal to see if he's going to help her. But the guy doesn't recognise her. She then gets some clothes on. She then tries to look around for clues. But then one of the other guys that she blackmailed last time spots her, calls up security. She's very confused by this because last time he tried to help her, but no. He calls up security. The security run up to her and keep telling her to turn off motor functions. She's pretty much going off on them and saying, listen, you don't control me anymore, I'm not your pet. But then Lee Sizemore comes in, tells the security she's just going crazy because of her programming. She's being a British spy, so she thinks you're Germans. And then Matt manages to tell the security to leave her alone. Maeve is pretty much surprised by this because she thought Lee died in a hail of bullets because of last season. But he says, no, they all missed his heart, apparently. And that he's all well and good, except he has the water of a cane. Maeve tries to get him to help her escape. He agrees. Well, she first asks why the hell did you put her in a Westworld, and he says, easiest place to hide you. Not a lot of people would suspect you of being there. She then agrees. He then agrees to help her escape. So she wakes up back in Italy under German occupation. Hector comes in. She grabs Hector, tells him to follow her. They get to Hector's car. She drives off. She then stops the car and tells Hector to come with her because they're going to escape. He then tells Maeve, I can't leave the resistance. Maeve tries to tell him, it's not real, you need to come with me now. But Hector can't leave. She kisses him goodbye, gives him the car keys, and then heads off to meet Lee. She meets Lee, he's brought a few horses with him, they ride off. Then the scene pans to Bernard and Stubbs heading down to look for Maeve. They then find Maeve, but the back of her head's completely gone, so the mem that brain's pretty much gone somewhere else. And then Bernard says, well, we got a new plan. We got to find out where we got to go to another computer point so that I can check myself to see if Dolores has put any programs into me so that she can control me, and to see what her plan is, and to find out where Maeve is. So Stubbs agrees. They head off to another part of the park to find the information. Back in Maeve heads with Lee to the forge. They arrive there. Lee tells her that everybody got away safe. They're in the cloud. Maeve's pretty much happy. She asks, can she join with her daughter? He says yes, but he then says, but where do you put them, because we can't find them. Maeve then tells Lee, yeah, I never did it. It was Dolores who saved the hosts. And then Lee doesn't really understand that. He thought she had done it. But then Lee tells Maeve that he's happy to see her again, and that he's fallen in love with her. But that confuses Maeve, because Lee was not attracted to her. She helped Maeve last time, not out of love, but out of the fact it was just the right thing to do at the time. So she pretty much realises that he is a host. But then something weird happens. He starts malfunctioning, but then the entire world then starts to flicker. So Maeve realises this isn't Westworld, this is something different. And she has to find out a way to prove that to herself and to, escape. So she takes Lee to, back to Warworld. She starts looking through files. She then calls in two people, shall we say, two technicians or something. She gives the technicians a math quiz to, give them a very hard math equation to deal with. Then she throws a statue in the air, and then it freezes, so she knows she's in a computer system. And the way to escape this system is to freeze the whole entire system. So make the system do too many things at once, and that will freeze it. So the plan is, she then goes over to all the German soldiers and Hector and gives them all the map plans. That will come up later. We then go back up with Bernard and Stubbs, who walk into who walk into, I'm going to call it Game of Thrones world, because you all know what I'm going to come up with now, if you've seen this episode. So it's pretty much medieval world. They're walking around. Stubbs tells Bernard that all these people that are left working are only here because they're trying to find out if they can get fired and for a paycheck. But in this scene, we see two unlikely people. Two unlikely motherfuckers. Dan and fucking Dave. Now, if you don't know who Dan and Dave are, those two are the two cunts who fucked up Game of Thrones. Who fucked that shit right up. HBO, what the fuck are you doing? We've all just forgot about fucking... we haven't really forgot about Game of Thrones, but for God's sake, putting them in fucking Westworld when we're already pissed off at the show? Are you fucking serious? Those two fucking morons? I mean, Jesus Christ. What the fuck are you doing? The fuck are they still in there? You idiots have had fucking more than enough time to have cut this scene out. There was plenty of time to cut this scene. I mean, what the fuck? Sorry, when I saw this bit, it pissed me right off. Because it just reminded me so much of what those two arseholes did to Game of Thrones. I mean, the last season, that was a disgrace, man. I mean, everybody agrees now. Even SJWs agree that that series turned shit with that season. I mean, Christ. And what the fuck are they working on? They're working on a fucking dragon. Oh, fuck, pissed me right off. Sorry. Anyway, Bernard and Stubbs walk through medieval world. They get to a computer room. Bernard starts testing on himself, trying to find out if Maeve's hidden anything. He then explains to Stubbs that Dolores brought him back for a reason. He thinks she brought him back because she didn't trust herself not to do anything too evil, well, to actually do something completely evil, and she might want Bernard to stop her. Stubbs then doesn't really understand what that means, but then he can't. Then a security guard walks in. Stubbs tries to stop him. The security guard realizes that that is Bernard. He then calls up for backup. Stubbs then injures the security guard, doesn't kill him, and then grabs an axe and then tries to hold off the rest of the security so Bernard can have enough time to, check his systems to make sure there's no back door into him. Then the next scene goes to Maeve, who is back in Italy with Germans. She then goes up to the Germans and tells them Hector's got the plans. Then the Germans arrest Hector, but Maeve pretty much shows the Germans they all have the plans, and then it turns out the system goes mad. All the Germans start shooting at each other. Hector shoots at a German shoots at Hector, kills them both, and then the system crashes. It all freezes. Lee then asks Maeve, "Is that it?" And she says yes. She manages to hack into the system, and then she pretty much realizes that she's in a computer. She then manages to hack into a robot. Robot bashes into the screen where her brain is. She grabs her brain. She legs out the door, takes out a few security guards, runs through a wall, gets outside, but then there's so many security shooting at the robot, it then just stops. Boom, dead. And then that scene ends. We then see Bernard and Stubbs at the beach on the boat. Bernard's saying that he thinks he knows what Dolores is up to, that she is trying to get into she's trying to get into some sort of, she's trying to get into the future system core, and she's trying to get through to one of the humans that we saw from last episode, and he's got to go find these people. Stubbs says goodbye to him and says, "I'm just going to finish off what I was doing earlier, and shoot myself." Bernard changes his algorithm to make him, Bernard's bodyguard. They then both head off as a team. And I like that. I like Stubbs. He's a good character. I was kind of surprised that he's Thor's brother, though. I'm just going to start just to say this. I was very, very surprised when I found out that he was their brother. I just realised that now. It's just, oh my god, he's their brother. Anyway, fuck that. That scene ends. Then we get a scene with Maeve. Maeve wakes up in new clothes. She then goes down the stairs to meet this weird guy who says hello to her. Tells her that he is the guy Dolores is looking for. He's the creator of this the system that Dolores is trying to get into. She tries to convince Maeve that we're on the same side. You need to trust me. Maeve doesn't really care about the war between humans and hosts. She wants to just go find her daughter. And then she grabs a knife and then tries to stab the guy. The guy has a pause button on her and tells Maeve, I'm going to convince you that we're on the same side. And then the episode ends. It's a good episode, but it's nothing to write home about. I think it was an okay episode. You can watch it, you can enjoy it, but until we see the rest of the season, I'm not, putting my hopes up, because we all know where this could go. We all know we live in an SJW Hollywood now. It's just facts. But that's my review. It was a good episode. The Dan and Dave shit could have been taken out of the episode. It would have made it 10 times better. But I like the story. I like the characters. Maeve is a great character. And she's pretty hot. No, what else can I say? But that's my review. If you like this video, give it a like. If you dislike this video, give it a dislike. And do comment below and tell me, did you like episode 2 of Westworld? And subscribe and share if you like my videos. Entertainment World Soldier. Bye.